Good night, good night, good night, family. Listen, I want to say something right quick that's on my heart. I'm not going to stay on here long because my eyes are burning. I'm really, really exhausted. I just got in um, finishing up a massage, and it's time for me to go to bed, right? But I want to say this right here. We have to be the change that we want to see. This came in my spirit um, several hours earlier, right? Several hours earlier, my massage therapist held me over talking um, after my massage. But we have to be the change that we want to see, and it can look start with taking accountability and acknowledging being obedient to the convictions that God has placed in our spirits. And when I went to go and get my massage earlier, I was running a bit late, and my massage therapist also was running a bit late, but I got there first. And when I got there first, I called my therapist, and they still were, running behind. So I said, well, okay, my eyes are burning. I'm exhausted, so I'm going to just take a nap here in the car. Wake me up when you get here. And so we get off the phone, and I begin to lay back in my seat to take a nap, something came back to my spirit, a conversation that I had with my baby aunt, right? She's my grandmother's baby. And my grandmother had her after over a little over a year, I think, after my mother had me. So I am the oldest, but she's my aunt. Um, and we were having a conversation a few days ago about something, and she disagreed. She disagreed with something that I said, and I made a comment. And then she came back and made her comment, and so lo and behold, that was the end of it. But um, that came back and played out in my spirit, and as it played out in my spirit, the way I said what I said was rude, and I began to feel that, and it's almost as if I didn't even recognize it then. I wasn't saying it to be rude, but I could feel the pain of my words. It settled in my spirit right at that moment, and so what I did was I began to as I began to I didn't even get to take a nap. I began to pick up the phone so that I wanted to send her a message and respond, because I know throughout the day they've had so much going on. We have a lot that's everyone's doing different things, but I wanted to send a message and bring that back up in the message and let her know that, this conversation, I was reflecting on this conversation that we'd had the other night, and this came back up in my spirit, and the way I said these words, I realize this is very rude, and I want to take the time to apologize to you, because it wasn't my intentions to be rude. I wasn't intentionally trying to be rude, but my words were rude, and I want you to know I'm sorry. And I said, I love you. And so, by the time I finished sending that text, my therapist had already pulled up, so we began walking inside and talking, and as we got into the office, I got a response just before I turned my phone off, because I always keep my phone off when I'm getting a massage. And so when we were talking about something, my therapist and I, but then when the response came in, I took the time to stop in mid conversation and just read it. And then she made a reply and said that means I think she said that I love you too. I appreciate that. That means a lot. And it's almost as if I could feel what I felt cause tears to flow from my eyes. And I begin responding, because I'm my grandmother's oldest grandchild, and we are the future, and what came to my spirit was we have to be the change that we want to see. And taking accountability, sometimes it starts with taking accountability, because sometimes we may not think that our words hurt, or we may not be saying anything that we think that hurts someone, or we may not even we may not be self-aware or aware at the time that we've said something that hurts. But when God brings something back to your spirit, and you sit and deal with that thing, and you go and you correct your error the right way, it brings about healing. And so as I began to respond to my and message, I said, we are the future. And I said, I believe I said something to that sort effect that I just said. And I said, we have to, if we want to heal the right way, sometimes it starts with taking accountability. And I said, I needed to reach out to you immediately when it came back to my spirit. I said, but also when I said that to you, I said it in front of the younger ones. It was a group of us. And I said, so I'm going to also address this issue publicly once we get back together in front of everyone. I said, I'm just letting you know this privately, but I'm also going to bring it back up in front of them and take accountability and apologize to you again in front of everyone, because I believe that's how healing begins to take place, when we begin to acknowledge our errors and take accountability, And she said, you're right. And tears were rolling out of my eyes as I was writing that, because I know it was so healing. It felt so healing, and it came straight from the spirit. And when I got off of the phone, I turned my phone off. My therapist was looking like, what was that? And so I just explained everything to my therapist, and then we hugged, and we always talk through the sessions anyway. But I needed to share that. It's a real moment, and that's all I know how to do. I don't get on here and pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm a normal human being, just like many of you. I'm not above you. I'm not beneath you. Many of you have asked for my advice over the years, some in my areas of expertise, and some you just wanted your little country bumpkins random opinion on things. And, I too am not above apologizing. I think I've always kind of said that as well. When we recognize the errors of our ways, I'm big on accountability, and it starts with the one who speaks it, right? That's what makes us strong. Real leaders are accountable for their actions, especially when you mean well and you're not trying to hurt anybody. But sometimes we do say things to hurt our fellow brothers and sisters, family, friends. And when you recognize that you're still in the land of the living, we can take accountability and fix it. That's love, right? Love heals. So anyway, my eyes are dry. I'm going to get off of here. I got to go brush my teeth. Y'all have a blessed night. That's all I wanted to share. That's what was on my spirit. If you guys have anything to share, please share it out. May see your messages in the morning or in a few hours. I'm going to sleep a bit. And then I want to, anyway, I ain't got to put all my business on here. Y'all have a blessed night. If nobody told you that they love you, your little country bumpkin sister loves you. And my brothers and sisters, those of you who have been praying for my family and I, that we have an angel watching over us in heaven, my very strong uncle. Some of you have seen him. I think I shared him on here when we were working on a project here some time ago, maybe last year or sometime or whatever. But he has been a solid backbone in my corner. He's the reason that your little country bumpkin is so skillful in many areas, him and several other of my uncles or whatever. But he has been the one who has kind of just always been there, very patient. He's a great teacher, a great father, a great friend, so his presence is going to be missed by so many people. If you knew him, you loved him. He had a very pure heart, but he wasn't nothing to push over. But he was very gentle, and very helpful and skillful. And so we are mourning and trying to celebrate his legacy, his life together, right? And so thank you so much for praying for your little country bumpkin. I appreciate it so much. Y'all have a blessed night.